What's going on, everyone? So for a majority of the season this year, we've been without key defensive pieces, right? Cam Reddish has missed several little spurts of games this season. Jared Vanderbilt, same thing. Gabe Vincent's only played 5 games this year. And Max Christie has finally returned, but we're waiting on the other 3. What is going on? We were supposed to get an update post All-Star break on Jared Vanderbilt, on Gabe Vincent, and on Cam Reddish, right? The only thing that we really got is, I guess, a visual of Jared Vanderbilt and Cam Reddish. And then, like I mentioned, Max Christie is back. And look, Max Christie being back, that helps tremendously, right? He's a guy that could be a legit two-way player. He can defend multiple positions. He can hit the open shot, especially in the corners. Really good at the corner threes this season. And you've seen the real strides between last year and this year. And Max Christie, I could see potentially kind of staying in the rotation and having a bigger role. Question is like once Reddish and Vincent and everyone comes back, what does Max Christie's role look like? I think it just, one, ultimately comes down to how well he plays, but 2, what happens with the other guys and how do they look, right? Gabe Vincent comes back and he's just atrocious. Do you really stick with him over a Max Christie? We will see. Time will tell. But I do like and am glad that we at least got one guy back on the defensive side. You can see him, defending the best player on the other team on any given night in any given spot. Obviously, he's a 20-year-old kid. There are times where he plays like it. He just will gamble a little bit or, be a little out of position and get beat or struggles to fight and doesn't have the strength yet to really power through some of the screens against some of these opponents, but he'll get there. Out of everyone on this roster, Max Christie, I might be the highest on. I think bare minimum, he's like a premier 3-and-D guy in this league. I think best case scenario, he's like a smaller Paul George, which would be fantastic. But we'll see. Again, he's 20 years old. Sky's the limit for this kid. We will get to watch him grow and develop, hopefully, with the Lakers. And hopefully he can make an impact or continue to make an impact this season. But Cam Reddish, right? Now, Cam Reddish seems to be the most likely to return. Could be as soon as the next game. He was essentially a game-time decision for the Phoenix Suns game. So he was actually working out pre-game, trying to get his ankle and his just rhythm and seeing how he was and if he was a go. And the Lakers took the more precautious side and said, hey, let's sit him out. We really could have used him in that Suns series. My concern also is just with all of these guys really is jumping right back into action and the way that they look. And how long does it take them to really kind of get back into the rhythm, get back into the flow of the game? Right? You saw with Jared Vanderbilt. He missed a ton of time. He comes back, and it took him like 10 games to really get back to being Jared Vanderbilt. Because, yes, a guy like a Vando, a Cam Reddish, they're not these like great offensive weapons, but they are and have been excellent on the defensive side. But just like offense is about repetition and rhythm and understanding and just, kind of going through the habits and developing that awareness, defense, the same thing, right? Like you got to get your legs underneath you. And as much as you practice, as much as you are putting yourself in position to try to replicate an NBA game, you're never going to be able to fully replicate that. And so hopefully Reddish, given like what we need him to do, just kind of go out there and lock down and use your size, your youth, and your athleticism. My hope is that he can kind of just get right back into the swing of things, and hopefully he's back for the Clippers game. Another game that we could absolutely use him for, going up against Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden. These are all guys that it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Now, Paul George is day-to-day. We'll see. I'm sure we'll get some kind of update and information either later today or tomorrow. And then hopefully we get some news with Cam Reddish because, again, he is day-to-day currently. Gabe Vincent, again, no real news or information, at least at the time of recording this video. Maybe something's came out. Maybe we've gotten an update. But I tried to give it a little time. And now we're like a week or whatever removed from All-Star weekend, and it's like, what's the deal? Like, what are we doing here, right? Like, they told us repeatedly, hey, we're gonna reevaluate these guys and give you an update, and us as Lakers Nation as a whole, we're all just like, dude, like, can we find out what's going on? Now, obviously, Gabe Vincent's a real question mark, right? Because he's only played 5 games this year. Does and can he get back into the rhythm of flow? He would be very helpful. Give us that like point of attack guard, kind of that, because he was supposed to be our Dennis Schroeder replacement. He's not as quick and just relentless as Schroeder can be, but I think Gabe Vincent's a little more consistent for the most part, and he's a guy that elevates in the postseason. He's also a guy that would pair well alongside a Spencer Dinwiddie, and Austin Reeves, a D'Angelo Russell, and a LeBron James. A guy that can initiate the offense, but also defend multiple positions and just get after it and hit the 3 ball. That would be huge. Again, it depends on what Gabe Vincent we get. Do we get the, like, what was he, like 3 of 17 Gabe Vincent? Or do we get the one that was in the postseason last year that was like 39% from 3? If we get that one, we're in pretty good shape. But still, just going off of the news and information that we do have out there, it appears that he still appears to be on schedule for a early March to mid-March return. Obviously, the sooner the better, because the more games he can get under his belt, the more in rhythm he can get, the more games he can play will just put him in as good of a position as possible come the playoffs. We got to get to the playoffs first, but that's the idea. And then as far as Jared Vanderbilt goes, we saw Jared Vanderbilt in the Suns game. Didn't play, but he was walking around in a boot. So he's still wearing a protective boot, which is not a good sign, right? So even Dan Woke said Jared Vanderbilt, who has been out since injuring his foot on February 1st, was on the Lakers bench today, but still wearing a protective walking boot. This doesn't bode well for Jared Vanderbilt's return anytime soon. Usually a guy gets out of the walking boot and then starts to ramp it up, and you got a couple weeks before that. So the fact that he's still in the walking boot, the hope is that it's just, again, precautionary. The hope is that, it's just that whenever he's not warming up and exercising, it's like, hey, let's keep that as protected as possible. That's my hope. But more likely than not, what it is he's still very injured, and he still needs the protective boot and needs to probably wear it another week or two before he's able to start getting on some on-court actions, which means he's probably bare minimum, my guess, probably going to miss all of March, or at least the 90% of March, right? Maybe he can come back the last game or two. My hope for Jared Vanderbilt, bare minimum, is he can get back for those April stretches of games. Because in April, we have 7 games? We have the Raptors, the Wizards, the Cavs, the Timberwolves, the Warriors, the Grizzlies, and the Pelicans. So that gives us 7 games. All of those we are desperately going to need. Some of those games should hopefully kind of be gimme games, right? Like the Raptors, the Wizards, and the Grizzlies. That's 3 teams that are probably have packed it in by that point. The Timberwolves, if they have locked up the 1 seed, they might have packed it in already. Same thing with the Cavs. The only teams that may be still fighting come April are going to be the Warriors and the Pelicans. So it's kind of the hope. Jared Vanderbilt would be great. Give him 7 games to kind of get back into the rhythm, get back into the flow of things, and give him an opportunity to get right for the postseason. And then we get in and make our postseason push. But it's frustrating because I really do want to know, as I'm sure many of you are. Now, I told everyone I'd continue to keep everyone in the loop, but we haven't gotten any news. So, and I know I see a lot of comments and stuff where people are like, hey, what's going on with Jared Vanderbilt? What's the news? What's the deal? So I just wanted to kind of give everyone a little insight in that regard. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. Pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? Or do you question, like, hey, what's going on with Jared Vanderbilt? Are you okay? Can you kind of wait until, we actually get some news or update? Are you frustrated? Do you think Vando comes back? Again, hopefully Cam Reddish comes back for that game. We'll see. Time will tell. But again, love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Lets me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.